Give me 60 seconds and I will expose your mystery. Ready? Start your clock. If you are stuck, it is not a demon, not your boss, not your cousin, not even your economy. It is a law you are violating. Write that down. Say it out loud. If I am stuck, I am violating a law. What did I say? Say it again with energy. You don't break laws. Laws break you. Gravity doesn't care if you're a bishop or a burglar. Jump off the roof and you meet the same consequence. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6-7. That's not a suggestion. That's legislation in the universe. Success is not a miracle. Success is mechanics. Tweet that to somebody right now. Hashtag laws. Joshua 1-8 calls it a book of the law, not a book of luck. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. Then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Reverse the verse and you will see the predictability. Depart from the law in your mouth, and your way departs from prosperity. In other words, prosperity doesn't come by prayer alone. It comes by practice of law. Oh dear, I felt the religious spirit twitch. Talk to the hand. Pray all night and violate the law of management in the morning, and watch loss answer your prayer with emptiness. Engage your pen and your mouth to engage your mind. Write this down. Laws are constants that make life predictable. Say it out loud. Life is governed by laws. Again, the reason I want your mouth working is because faith comes by hearing. Sometimes your ears need to hear your own obedience. And the reason I want your pen working is because ink makes ideas become instructions. No hype tonight. No lottery spirituality. No comparison with your neighbor's highlight reel. Only laws, consequences, and obedience. I promise you, by the end of this message, you will name specifically the law you have been violating, and you will choose one law to obey relentlessly this week, not 10, one. Because one kept law can unlock 10 closed doors. Let me offend your excuses gently. The law will find you. If you mismanage time, lateness will prosecute you. If you dishonor mentors, ignorance will indict you. If you refuse diligence, poverty will subpoena you. Why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? Jesus asks in Matthew 15:3. In other words, stop blaming rules and start obeying laws. Write this down. Success is predictable obedience. Failure is predictable violation. Your 60 seconds are up. Now we begin. Open your heart, sharpen your pencil, and put your mouth to work. Say it one more time. Success is mechanics, not magic. And the law will find me, so I will find the law. So what is a law? Write this down. A law is a built-in principle created by God that produces predictable consequences, whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. Say it aloud with me. A law is a built-in principle. Again, now add this, that produces predictable consequences. What did I say? Predictable. I want that word to baptize your brain. Predictable. The Bible calls it law for a reason. The law of the Lord is perfect, restoring the soul. Psalm 19:7. Perfect means consistent. Consistent means predictable. You don't break laws, laws break you. Write it down. If you step off a 10-story building praying in tongues, gravity does not negotiate. If you argue with gravity, the sidewalk will win every time. Don't be deep, be lawful. Deep people splat too. Law does not need your permission, it just needs your position. In other words, where you position yourself determines what law you activate. Jump a line with gravity, you descend. Lift a line with aerodynamics, you ascend. Same person, different law. Let me give you the picture, because pictures preach better than paragraphs. Fish in water, that is the law of environment. Write that down. Seed in soil, that is the law of placement. Bird in air, that is the law of medium. Remove the fish from water, no demon is needed. Death begins automatically. Place the seed on a polished tile. It will prophesy all day and never germinate. Put the bird in a shoebox. Its wings become decorations, not instruments. The consequence is not personal, it's legal. Someone shout back to me, it's legal. It's legal. That's why Romans 8:2 says, the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. Notice, law versus law. Not emotion versus law, not opinion versus law. Law is undefeated. Write this down. Laws are universal, impartial, and undefeated. They work in Africa and Alaska, in the boardroom, in the bedroom, for bishops and burglars, same predictability. That's why life is not supposed to be a lottery. It is supposed to be lawful. Say it with me. Laws make life predictable. Again, louder laws make life predictable. If you are surprised by your harvest, it means you were ignorant of your seed. Galatians 6:7 already told you the verdict. Whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. Whatever means what? Whatever. Tweet it. Sow law, reap predictability. Humor me for 30 seconds. Imagine a man shouting at the ocean, I don't believe in wet. Then he jumps in. Does the Atlantic schedule a debate? No. Belief is irrelevant to law. Practice is everything. So stop negotiating with consequences and start locating the law. Write it in capital letters. Law is not a suggestion, it is a system. Keep the system and the system keeps you. Break the system and the system breaks you. Laws don't show favoritism, they show results. That's good news, because if you can learn a law, you can forecast your life. Now, let me separate two words that keep many of you loyal to bondage: laws and rules. Write this down. Laws are God-embedded principles that never change. Rules are man-invented procedures that often change. Say it. Rules describe preferences. Laws prescribe principles. In other words, laws govern outcomes. Rules govern order. Order is useful until it obstructs obedience. When a rule blocks a law, the rule must bow. Tweet that. Jesus said, why do you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition? Matthew 15:3. Tradition is a rule playing God. Read verse 6. Thus you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition. And verse 9 adds, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. Write this down. God's laws are permanent. Man's rules are provisional. Successful people know the difference. I'm about to offend nice people. Anyone who wants to be successful must break the rules for the sake of the law. What did I say? Say it loud. Jesus healed on the Sabbath. He did not break law. He kept the higher law of life, purpose, and mercy. Let's get practical. Schedules, policies, gatekeepers, helpful until they oppose principle. The office says we answer emails in 48 hours. The law of diligence says answer before the sun rises. The conference says you need a badge to enter. The law of value says if you solve the problem, the door will find you. Some HR rule says no degree, no seat. The law of competence says mastery makes room for you. Proverbs calls it excellence. Daniel calls it an excellent spirit. Break the rule, keep the law. Rosa Parks sat where a rule forbid her, but she submitted to the higher law of human dignity and justice. The Wright brothers violated the rule. Man can't fly by submitting to the law of lift. Entrepreneurs violate the rule. Wait your turn by submitting to the law of seed, service, and stewardship until results can be denied. Listen to me. Polite is optional. Principle is non-negotiable. You can keep your manners and move the lines. Drill this with me. Rules change. Laws do not. One more time. Rules change. Laws do not. Matthew 5:17-19 says, Jesus did not abolish the law, and that whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great. Practice and teach what? Law. Greatness is not a title. It is a testimony of lawful obedience. So make a list tonight. Which rule is suffocating the law you must obey? Tear it up respectfully. Keep honoring people while refusing the prison of their preferences. Write this down. Obey divine and natural laws relentlessly and refuse any man-made rule that opposes them. Say it, tweet it, live it now. Let me remove the fog right now. Write this down. Success is not a pursuit. Success is a result of obedience to laws. Say it back to me. Again, louder. You don't chase success. You obey the conditions that make success chase you. Fruit doesn't pursue the seed. Fruit is the predictable testimony of a seed that stayed lawful in soil, light, water, and time. In other words, success is a byproduct. Failure is also a byproduct. Both have parents, and their names are obedience and violation. Tweet that. Outcomes have parents, obedience, or violation. Now, Hear the manual of predictability. Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Everybody read the verbs with me. Mouth, meditate, do, make. Write this down. Mouth, mind, movement, produce, making. Now reverse the verse. This is how you kill mystery. If the law departs from your mouth and you refuse to meditate and you do not do, then you will not make your way prosperous and you will not have good success. What did I say? Say it out loud. Success is predictable. Failure is predictable. Again, laws make both predictable. Let me irritate religious laziness for a moment. Prosperity doesn't come by prayer. It comes by keeping laws. Prayer sustains you. Laws produce results. Tweet that to somebody who thinks God is a vending machine. Oh dear, I felt something twitch again. Talk to the hand. James 1:22 says, be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Prayer connects you to the source. Obedience connects you to outcomes. Prayer is oxygen for the athlete. Law is the training routine that builds muscle. You can breathe loudly and never lift a weight. You can speak in tongues over a field and never see a harvest if you didn't sow seed, submit to seasons, and steward the soil. The farmer who prays without planting is not spiritual. He is a comedian. Write this in bold. Success is mechanics, not magic. Mechanics means systems, sequences, and standards. Practice until results become inevitable, not occasional inspiration, daily legislation. May systems by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled. Proverbs says it, look it up. That is a building code, not a mood. In other words, when you align the right knowledge with faithful doing, you trigger inevitability. Keep the law and the law keeps you. Break the law and the law breaks you. So here's your freedom. Stop taking your life personally. Start taking it legally. If your outcomes are erratic, your obedience is irregular. If your progress is episodic, your practice is seasonal. Put the law back in your mouth. Schedule meditation in your mind. Translate revelation into movement. Then you will make your way. Not God drops it. You make it by aligning with what God already legislated. Say it with me. Mouth, mind, movement, make. Again. Now we are ready to get surgical. In a moment, I will help you name the exact law you are ignoring. Not general, specific. Because once you locate the violation and install obedience, results will stop surprising you and start reporting to you on schedule. Get your pen ready. The mystery ends tonight. Write this down. Success is what you have done compared to what you should have done. Say it out loud. Again. Not compared to your cousin, your competition, or the curated highlight reels on your phone compared to your assignment. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, not I know the trends you should copy. Proverbs 19:21 adds, many are the plans in a man's heart, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. In other words, purpose is the measure, and the law that governs purpose is placement. The law of placement says everything thrives in the right environment and dies in the wrong one. Fish in water life, fish on sand funeral, seed in soil harvest. Seed on tile prophecy with no productivity. Bird in air dominion. Bird in a shoebox decoration. You don't break the law of placement, it breaks you. Say this with me. Wrong place, right gift equals predictable pain. Again, tweet it. Some of you are grieving, not because you lack a gift, but because you planted it in the wrong climate. Psalm 1 calls the blessed man a tree planted by streams of water. Notice the word planted. Location is legislation. Let me offend your scoreboard. You can be applauded and failing, trending and disobedient, affluent and illegal. Why? Because you're measuring by others, not by assignment. Daniel was excellent in Babylon because his internal law overruled the external culture. Joseph prospered in prison because purpose is portable when placement is lawful. God does not bless performance. He blesses alignment. What did I say? Alignment. My 48 over 100 lesson changed my life. Years ago, people clapped invitations poured in, and I felt successful. I asked the Lord, how am I doing? He answered in my spirit, 48 out of 100. I said, Lord, I'm preaching, traveling, helping. He said, you are busy, but you drifted from specific assignments I gave you. Partial obedience is disobedience. 1 Samuel 15:22, to obey is better than sacrifice. I was sacrificing sleep, but violating placement, saying yes to rooms that fed my ego, but starved my purpose. Write this down. Applause can be a trap. Assignment is a law. Diagnostic moment. Are you planted or potted? Potted plants look portable and polished, but stay small. Planted trees look messy at first, but grow unstoppable. Are you in soil that fights your roots? Are you with people who drain your faith? Jonah was a prophet, but out of place, and the ocean produced a storm on schedule. Wrong place, right gift equals predictable pain. Say it again. Here's your move. Realign before you resign. Relocate your seed to compatible soil. Schedule your life around assignment, not attention. Isaiah 61 says, you are oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord. When the planter chooses the place, growth is no longer accidental, it's inevitable. Now let's get surgical. Take out your pen. We're going to run a 60-second self-diagnosis. Ready? Set your timer. Circle the first word that convicts you. Time, talent, treasure, relationships, health, environment, attention. Don't overthink. The Lord doesn't need your feelings to function. It needs your honesty to align. Clarity comes quickly when you measure behavior against law, not moods. Under that circle, write the law you've been violating. Time, the law of priorities and redeeming the time. Ephesians 5:15-16. Talent, the law of cultivation. Gifts grow by practice, not by prayer alone. Treasure, the law of seed and stewardship. Money obeys management and margin. Proverbs 27-23. Relationships, the law of honor and separation. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Health, the law of discipline and rest. Beloved, I wish you prosper and be in health. 3 John 1-2. Environment, the law of placement. Wrong place, right gift equals predictable pain. Attention, the law of focus. The eye is the lamp of the body. Matthew 6:22. Write it down. Prompt, stack, answer fast. Where are you inconsistent? Where are you ignorant of principle? Where are you excusing tradition? Inconsistent means you start and stop. Ignorant means you never studied the law. Excusing tradition means you hide behind. This is how we do it. Say this with me. What I tolerate today becomes my tomorrow. Again, louder. What did I say? What I tolerate today becomes my tomorrow. Tweet that. Humor me while we arrest a criminal. If your calendar doesn't obey your purpose, it's in rebellion. Arrest it, put it in handcuffs, call appointments, subpoena your mornings to meet your mission. Redeem the time because the days are evil. Ephesians 5:16. If your phone steals your attention, change its bail. Turn off notifications. If your fridge prosecutes your health, evict the sugar. If your friends mock your progress, relocate your circle. Purpose is the judge. Laws are the court. Your habits are the verdict. Here is the outcome of this minute. Name one violated law you will correct this week. Not 10. One. Say it. One kept law can unlock 10 closed doors. Choose it now. If it's time, schedule tomorrow, tonight. If it's talent, block 60 minutes of deliberate practice daily. If it's treasure, pre-decide a percentage and automate it. If it's relationships, initiate an honest boundary conversation within 48 hours. If it's health, sleep before midnight and walk 30 minutes daily. If it's environment, move your work to lawful soil. If it's attention, create a 90-minute deep work block with the door closed. Daniel, purpose in his heart. Daniel 1-8. Now, purpose in your calendar. Begin today, measure daily, and let the law report results on schedule. Ready? Management begins where excuses end. Write that down. Write this down. The law of management states that whatever you properly use, multiply, and protect, you are qualified to receive more of. Whatever you neglect, you are scheduled to lose. Say it back to me. Again, Jesus anchored this in Luke 16, 10, 12. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who will give you your own? That's not poetry, that's policy. Management is the proof of value. In other words, God tests you with little, with another man's, and with what is least, to see if you can be trusted with more, with your own, and with what is much. Increase is attracted to management. Decrease is the judgment for mismanagement. Tweet that right now. Time law. Write this down. Unmanaged minutes guarantee unfulfilled purpose. Say it out loud. Your destiny is hidden in your daily. If your hours leak, your calling limps. Psalm 90:12 prays. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Number means account. Put your time on a budget or your future will go bankrupt. Schedule purpose first, people second, pleasures third. Reverse that order and you mortgage your mission. If you cannot manage a morning, don't ask for a movement. What did I say? If you cannot manage a morning, don't ask for a movement. Money law, it is not lack that keeps you broke. It is mismanagement. Write that down. Know well the condition of your flocks, Proverbs 27-23. In modern terms, track your inflow, assign every outflow, build margin and seed before you need. Farmers don't wait for a famine to start planting. You don't pray for harvest with empty fields. You sow on schedule, tithe, and give us law. Build storehouses and invest in skill. God doesn't multiply confusion. He multiplies order. Remember the 5 loaves. He sat them down in groups first. Heaven trusts managers. Gift law. Unused potential decays. Say it. 2 Timothy 1:6, stir up the gift of God which is in you. Stir is management. Practice is payment to your future. Excellence is expensive and it charges daily. Proverbs 22:29 says, do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Diligence is not talent. It is training under law. If you only use your gift when you feel inspired, you will be expired before you are hired. Put your gift on the clock. Rehearse, review, refine every day. Say this with me. What I mismanage, I forfeit again stronger. If you mismanage time, you forfeit purpose. If you mismanage money, you forfeit margin. If you mismanage gifts, you forfeit influence. God is not withholding. Your stewardship is. Align with the law and watch increase locate you. Keep the law of management and the law will keep increase in your life. Let me show you this in the field. Jesus walks onto a boat loaded with experienced men and empty nets. Same lake, same boat, same men, new instructions. Launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Luke 5:4. Peter objects with tradition. Master, we toiled all night. Night fishing was the rule. Location and timing were the rule. But Peter adds the legal clause. Nevertheless, at your word, right depth, right side, right time, law of placement, overruled habit. Verse 6 says, the nets broke with fish. Visible success is the receipt for private law keeping. Write this down. Tradition informs, law performs. Peter didn't change boats, he changed obedience. Same skill, different submission. Some of you are praying for new equipment while ignoring new instructions. Cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. John 21:6. Right side was not superstition, it was specification. What did I say? Specification is legislation. When you obey an exact law, you activate an exact result. Rules are negotiable, laws are not. Say it out loud again. Tweet it to your future right now. Field evidence 2, the athlete. LeBron James is not famous because of game day magic. He is inevitable because of practice law. Reputation says you're a veteran, rest. Repetition says shoot again. The rule in the locker room is conserve. The law on the court is compound. He honored the law of deliberate practice. Thousands of purposeful reps. Film study before breakfast. Recovery. Proverbs 22:29 whispers, do you see a man diligent? He will stand before kings. Reputation doesn't score, repetition does. Write that down. Unlace your habits. Field evidence 3, the innovator. Industry rules said phones need keyboards. Music players must have buttons. Carriers dictate features. Jobs broke the rules to keep higher laws, value, simplicity, user dignity. The law of design says remove friction, reveal function, respect attention. He discarded the keyboard, reduced to one button, married hardware to software, and served delight. The result? The market obeyed the law it recognized. Superior value. He didn't worship disruption, he obeyed design. Write this down. Excellence is lawful order showcase. Innovation is obedience made visible. So here is the verdict from the field. Every notable breakthrough is a collision with rules and a submission to higher laws. Write it down. Say it out loud. Miracle is waiting on your mechanics, not your mood. Keep the law of placement, the law of repetition, the law of design, and let results chase you because you obeyed. Whatever he says to you, do it. John 2-5. What did I say? Rules are negotiable. Laws are not. Obey the law and let the rule rewrite itself. Now we move from examples to engine. I'm about to drop the framework in a rapid cascade, 10 laws in 100 seconds. Pens up, mouths open. Say this with me. These 10 interlocking laws turn desire into design and design into destiny again. Tweet it to your tomorrow. This is not poetry. This is policy. If you can memorize them, you can mechanize them. If you can mechanize them, you can make your way prosperous. Joshua 1-8. What did I say? Memorize, mechanize, make. Number 1, purpose. Write this down. Know why you exist. Measure by assignment, not applause. Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. Say it. Purpose is the measure. Wrong purpose, right effort equals predictable frustration. Locate your mandate, then schedule your life around it. Number 2, perception. Seeing is a law. Interpret facts by principle, not by fear. The spies saw giants. Joshua saw a promise. What you see determines how you move. Number 3, potential. Believe capacity. God never creates a seed without a forest inside. Unused ability is illegal waste. Burying a talent is a crime scene in the kingdom. Stir it, train it. Stir it, train it. Number 4, passion. Fire fuels focus. Zeal for your house has consumed me. Psalm 69:9. Passion without law is wildfire. Passion with law is power. Number 5, principles. Non-negotiables. Memorize and obey laws. You don't rise to desires, you rise to disciplines. Write it down. Principles are rails that make speed safe. Number 6, planning. Blueprint behavior. Schedule your obedience. Proverbs says, by wisdom a house is built. Blueprints. Put purpose in the calendar or it will live in your imagination. Number 7, people align with law keepers. Wrong company cancels right destiny. He who walks with the wise grows wise. Proverbs 13:20. Audit your circle. Are they fans of your feelings or guardians of your laws? Number 8, persistence. Do it again. Repetition is respect for law. Elisha told Naaman, dip 7 times, not cute, consistent. Number 9, perseverance. Endure seasons. Laws work over time. Let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we do not faint. Galatians 6-9. Delay is not denial. It is the clock confirming the law. Number 10, prayer. Communion for clarity and courage, not a substitute for principle. Prayer is the control tower that guides lawful flights. Grace gives you fuel to keep the pattern. Say it out loud. I pray to align. I plan to obey. I persist to harvest. Now stack them daily. Purpose, perception, potential, passion, principles, planning, people, persistence, perseverance, prayer, and watch desire become design and design become destiny. Write it, post it, practice it, then let results testify. Write this down. Feelings are weather, laws are climate. What did I say? Say it back to me. Feelings are weather, laws are climate. You don't build a life for the forecast of a day. You build for the climate of a decade. Motivation is a mood. Mechanics are a mandate. If your obedience is married to your emotions, your future will be seasonal. Tweet that to your tomorrow. In other words, stop waiting to feel it, start scheduling to do it. Matthew 7:24 says, the wise man hears and does, builds on rock. Storms came to boat houses, weather hit both. The one with mechanics stood, the one with hype collapsed. Don't be deep, be durable. Durability is the reward of lawful habits. Now install the loop. Joshua 1-8 gave us the operating system. Mouth, meditate, do, make. I want you to add 2 gears. Write this down. Meditate, do, review, repeat. Say it, meditate, do, review, repeat. Meditation loads the principle. Doing launches the practice. Review refines the pattern. Repeat compounds the power. Without review, you recycle mistakes. Without repeat, you starve momentum. James 1:22 says, be doers, not hearers. Verse 25 says, the doer who continues is blessed in his work. Continues, that means repeat until the result is inevitable. Obedience is not an event, it's a rhythm. Let me attack your favorite lie. The longest way to success is the shortcut. What did I say? Say it loud. Stop skipping reps. Naaman didn't dip thrice, he dipped 7 times. Elisha didn't negotiate the number to suit Naaman's schedule. Laws have counts. David didn't strike Goliath with good intentions. He practiced with lions and bears. Daniel didn't pray when he felt like it. He prayed as was his custom, window open 3 times a day. Custom beats mood. Tweet this. You cannot binge obedience. You must budget obedience. Pray for wisdom, yes, but then prove wisdom by practice. James 1-5 says, ask for wisdom. Verse 22 says, do it. Ecclesiastes 10:10 declares, if the axe is dull and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength, but wisdom brings success. Prayer sharpens your perception. Practice swings the axe. Some of you keep sharpening and never swing. Others swing a dull axe and burn out. The law is balance. Pray to align, plan to obey, practice to improve, pause to review, then repeat on schedule. Heaven multiplies what you manage. Say this with me. Motivation fades, mechanics compound. Again, motivation fades, mechanics compound. Proverbs 13:11 says, he who gathers little by little makes it grow. Little by little is not slow, it's legal. Compound obedience turns, drops into rivers. 10 pages a day becomes a library. 30 minutes of skill a day becomes mastery. 1 honest budget meeting a week becomes margin. The hype of a conference is a spark. The habit of a calendar is an engine. Engines move visions. So here's your discipline shift. Convert inspiration into iteration. Every insight gets a slot on your schedule. Every slot gets a standard. Every standard gets a review. If the law is not on your calendar, it is not in your life. You don't rise to desires, you rise to disciplines. Build for climate, not for weather. Replace hype with habits. Meditate, do, review, repeat until success has no choice but to report on time. Now take that engine and point it at a problem. Write this down. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours because you consistently solve their problems. Say it back to me. Again, influence is not followers, it is function. It is not likes. It is leverage earned by lawful outcomes. Here is the headline. Influence is the harvest of visible, repeatable problem solving rooted in law. Tweet that right now. When you obey the laws that fix pain, people relocate their calendar to your solution. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Your gift is not a decoration, it is a problem solver. Write this down. Gifts are lawful tools, not lottery tickets. Package it lawfully. Clarify what problem it solves. Codify how you solve it. Practice until the result is predictable. Then place it where the problem lives. That's the law of placement. Salt influences only when it leaves the shaker and touches meat. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. See visible, good works, problem solving. Influence is the byproduct. Here is your market test. 3 C's. Write this down. Clarity, consistency, consequence. Clarity. Can a 12-year-old describe the problem you solve in 1 sentence? Consistency. Can people set their watch by your delivery? Consequence. When you're done, what measurable change remains? What did I say? Clarity, consistency, consequence. If strangers cannot predict your result, you don't have a brand, you have a hobby. Success begins with identifying a problem to solve. Say it out loud. Again, louder. Tweet it and tag your assignment. Field proof. Acts 10:38. God anointed Jesus, who went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed. Doing good is not vague. Blind eyes open, lame walk. Storms obeyed, problems solved. Crowds changed their priorities, left work, climbed roofs, tore ceilings because law-backed outcomes were visible. Daniel 5:12 says he had an excellent spirit, knowledge, and understanding to interpret dreams, explain riddles, and solve problems. The king rewrote decrees because one man dissolved doubt on demand. Joseph interpreted a dream, built a storage system, and solved a famine. Pharaoh rearranged government to his plan. Influence followed law. Assignment time. Write this down. List the top problem your gift solves. One line. Then write where the law of placement puts it. Industry, neighborhood, platform, room. Who has the pain? Where do they gather? When is it acute? What lawful process will you run every time? What proof will you publish each week? Let your light so shine. Stop hiding results under a bowl. Start a visible case study. Solve one problem daily, document the before and after, and deliver on schedule. Influence will knock because outcomes open the door. Keep the law, solve the problem, and watch priorities pivot toward your purpose. Write this down. Make obedience automatic by installing laws into your daily rhythm. What did I say? Say it again. Systems beat willpower. Rituals make righteousness repeatable. Daniel 6:10 says he prayed as was his custom. Luke 4:16 says Jesus went to the synagogue as was his custom. Custom means law installed in time. If it's not scheduled, it's not a law to you. It's a preference. Tweak that to your morning. Move on, read for law, not law. Open the manual for mandates. Joshua 1-8 is not a memory verse, it's a morning routine. Let the book of the law be in your mouth. Meditate day and night. Observe to do, then make your way prosperous. Read to extract a principle, not to finish a chapter. Write this down. One law a day keeps confusion away. Put it in your mouth. Say it out loud. Put it in your mind. Ponder its mechanics. Put it on a card. Carry the command, not the commentary. Move to plan the day by purpose. Before people schedule you, schedule your obedience. Proverbs 16:3. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Put assignment first, appointment second, applause last. Arrest your calendar, put it in cuffs called blocks. Say it with me. If the law is not on my calendar, it is not in my life. Move 3, practice the gift. Deliberate reps, skill compounds. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings. Set a 60-90 minute deep practice block. No notifications, no visitors, just repetition with feedback. Write this down. Excellence charges daily and accepts no IOUs. What did I say? Say it again. Move 4, protect environment. Curate inputs, spaces, and relationships. The law of placement applies to your desk, your diet, and your friends. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Clean the space, close the door, control the feed, choose the circle. Right atmosphere accelerates assignment. Wrong atmosphere arrests it. Fish in water flow. Fish on carpet funeral. You don't break this law, it breaks you. Move 5, manage resources, time, money, energy. Budget them or bleed them. Proverbs 27-23 says, know the state of your flocks in modern terms. Track your hours, your dollars, your vitality. Sow before you scroll. First fruits before first feeds. Hydrate, move, and sleep on purpose. Write this down. Unmanaged minutes and unguarded margins are illegal exits where destiny escapes. Move 6, serve and solve. Ship 1 solution daily. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine so they may see your good works. Produce 1 visible fix, an email that dissolves confusion, a prototype, a call that reconciles, a post that teaches law, a client deliverable on time. Small wins keep laws alive. Faith without works is dead. Vision without shipping is fantasy. Move 7, review and refine. End the day with an audit against the 10 P's. Ask, did purpose dictate my plan? What did perception reveal? What potential did I train? Was my passion channeled by principles? Did planning protect me? Did people sharpen me? Did I persist and persevere lawfully? Did prayer align my heart? Write this down. Meditate, do, review, repeat. Reverse the verse. No review, no refine, no refine. Repeat the mistake. Now compress the ritual law in. Plan by purpose. Practice the gift. Protect environment. Manage resources. Serve and solve. Review and refine. Say it back to me. Again, louder. Install this sequence for 7 mornings and 7 evenings and watch results report on schedule. Obedience is no longer an event. It's an operating system. Here's the altar call of application. The 7-day law challenge. Write this down. Act for 7 straight days and let the law prove itself in your life. What did I say? Say it out loud. Choose one violated law from your audit, only one, and one environment change to protect it. One law, one environment. If it's the law of focus, your environment change is door closed and notifications off. If it's the law of management, your environment change is a clear desk and a visible budget. Daniel purposed in his heart. Daniel 1-8. Now purpose in your calendar and your space. Set the plan now. Same time block every day, 7 days. Consistency is the ceremony that crowns a law. Joshua 1-8 says, meditate day and night and then do. So schedule your mouth and your minutes. Block 60-90 minutes for practice. Deliberate reps for your gift, not random activity. Ship one solution, daily visible output before you sleep. And appoint an accountability partner today. Ecclesiastes 4-9-10 says 2 are better than 1. 2 Corinthians 13-1 says every word is established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Text your partner your plan tonight. Send your proof each day. Measure it. Write this down. No measurement, no miracle. Set a simple 3-column tracker on paper or phone. Column 1 inputs, minutes practiced, reps completed, pages read, calls made. Column 2 outputs, the deliverable you ship, report file, prototype sent, lesson posted. Column 3 consequences, doors opening, responses received, clarity gained, peace increased, money managed, opportunities invited. Galatians 6-7 says, whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. So record the sowing and expect the reaping. What you measure, you multiply. Tweet that. Make it public. Post your one law and one action tonight, not to impress, to increase accountability. Hebrews 10:24 says, provoke one another to love and good works. Invite 2 friends to join you, tag them, and create a group thread called Lawkeeper 7. Every day, all 3 must post done with a 10-second proof, a calendar screenshot, a page count, a sent deliverable, a before and after photo. Miss a day? Pay a pre-agreed consequence that funds your future savings, seed, or skill costs. Rules are negotiable. Laws are not. What did I say? Here is my blessing and my charge. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Proverbs 16:3. Be doers of the word, not hearers only. James 1:22. Do not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you do not faint. Galatians 6-9. Prove me now, says the Lord. Malachi 3:10. I bless your week with order, focus, and favor. I command doors to recognize lawful stewardship and open on schedule. Go, keep the law, ship your daily proof, measure your obedience, and watch the predictable harvest begin. Say it with me. 7 days of obedience beats 7 years of excuses. Again, louder. Now go and let results testify.